When a wife calls her husband in office and asks, "Can you bring milk while coming home?" How many of you think that was really a question? Good morning, fellow Speechcrafters, Toastmasters, and mentors. I hope everything is copacetic with you. Friends, in a marriage, when a wife asks a question, it's not really a question. Can you bring milk does not mean you have an option to say no. It means I want you to bring milk. So while I'm at the supermarket holding the milk can, I call up my wife to ask, "Is there something else which you want?" Trust me, it's an honest question. If she's in a happy mood, she will say, "Okay, bring some fruits and vegetables as well." If she's in a bad mood, she will say, "What? Are you still in the supermarket? Come home quickly." Well, speaking of questions, some questions asked by my wife are even tougher than CA exams. For example, how was the dinner I made yesterday? And am I looking fat? Friends, if you give an honest response, even God won't be able to help you. When I wrote my icebreaker speech, obviously I showed it to my wife for pre-approval. She said, "Such a long speech? You never talk to me when you're in the house." Well, I was feeling a little brave that day, and I said, "So read it now and don't tell me that I don't talk to you." Later on, even I started thinking, how come a person like me, who doesn't talk much, was able to write such a long speech? Then I realized it was all lying dormant inside of me with years of conditioning. I realized I had mastered the art of silent craft, and that is why it was a good decision to join Speechcraft. One fine, lovely morning, my wife was angry with me. Just another day in life. I asked, "What happened, dear?" She said, "You left me and went with another woman." I was baffled. I asked, "How? When? Where? And more importantly, who?" She said, "She had dreamt it last night." I said, "But it was just a dream. What's my fault in that?" She said, "You cannot even do that to me in a dream. If I had a dream like this, there must be something." I was stumped. How are you expected to defend yourself? Well, I would like to quote one more instance. My wife is from Gujarat, which is a small, cute city in Gujarat. So when we were there after marriage, she asked me politely, "Dear, can we go to the temple?" I said, "Yes, dear, sure, why not?" She said, "But I would like to go walking." I thought, okay, Rajkot is a small city. Any temple would not be more than just a kilometer away. I said, "No problem." The next morning, when we were about to go, she said, "We are going to Chotila," which was 50 kilometers away. It took us 8 hours to reach there. When I was at the temple, can you guess what I must have wished from God? No, what's wrong with you guys? I would never hurt a fly. I just wished that while going back, we could take a taxi. Later, when I asked, "Why did we go walking?" And she just casually said, "Because I had never done it earlier." That day itself, I understood. I will never understand her. Well, friends, after 11 years of marriage, what I now realize is that marriage is an evolution. From reading between the lines to pushing the physical limits by walking 50 kilometers and keeping your promises. It is these moments that stay forever. I believe in cherishing the time spent together and enjoying every day as it comes, including the days of happiness and disagreements. Even though a lot of self-help book says to read impossible as I am possible, as far as understanding my wife is concerned, well, it still remains a mission impossible for me. Thank you, guys.
Speech crafter Sachin, we wish your wife would listen to this speech. Then we can verify all the points.
Well, as usual, I got the pre-approval, so it's all good.
Okay. Okay. Let's move on to next speaker. That is Speechcrafter Webber. His speech title is Life Like a Rose, and his speech will be evaluated by a speechcrafter Dilip Jain. Let's welcome Webber for Life Like a Rose.
Am I visible and audible?
Um, yes, you are
Okay.
visible and
Okay.
yep.
Okay. A famous quote said, life is not about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. A very good morning to the everyone. I am Vaibhav and I am going to talk about life like a rose. There are no rose without a thorn, but there are several thorns without a rose. As speculate to a rose, there are several thorns which are part and parcel of our life and which hurt us throughout our life. Today, I'm going to focus on the three thorns: prediction, or ambitions, negative thoughts. When a child born, parents goes to the priest and ask for the astrology. Am I correct? We call them as the Janam Kundali, a birth chart. Though they will not understand the importance of the planet, star, and this universe, but they have so curious to get to know what is the prediction of our child. But none of the birth chart has predicted this current pandemic and the suffering of this pandemic. So this is not horoscope. This is an horoscope, which give fear and anxiety in your life. Let's take an example. When you go to watch at the cinema, you will see the cinema poster. You will start predicting about the movie. You will start predicting about hero, how he react. As the movie runs, the suspense will build because all our prediction went wrong. Last, we will think once again, oh, this should be the end of the movie. But our prediction again went wrong. Then you will come out and you will say, what a wonderful movie. That means if all our prediction went wrong, the movie become a wonderful. Then I am asking, what is the wrong with your life? Let's try not to predict the life. If everything is goes wrong, it become wonderful, wonderful. And if it go well, then be a happy-go-lucky guy. My next topic is the or ambitions. Life. Life is full of ambition to achieve trendy goal. I use the word trendy. That means whatever is the current phenomena, people wants to achieve that goal. Correct? Indeed, the goal, desire, aspiration, dreams are very important to your life. But this over ambitions is the mother of huge tension. Let's continue the example of Speechcrafter Gaurav, the vicious settlement. Gaurav, if you allow me. Okay. Now this is time to you become a parent. After 3 years, Gaurav parent will say, oh Gaurav, you just have a baby boy and he is demanding a sister. So hum do, hamare do. You should have one more, a baby girl. Then your life become settled. So when I saw his video a many a time, I realized that Gaurav was not just irritated, but he was frustrated to live his life with the multiple goals. Today, we are so goal oriented that before start the marathon, we want to touch the finish line. And these multiple goals are putting fuel to the fires. Let's move to my last topic, negative thought. Let me ask you the question. Can it be possible to remove all your negative thoughts and just keep the positive thoughts? Can it be? No? Just for an experiment, for a 10-second, we just think monkey is a stupid animal and we should not think about the monkey. What's gonna happen? Your mind is a full of monkey? Yes or no? So this is the nature of our mind. If you want to just stop thinking, it will think more. So the $1 billion question is, what should we do? How we eliminate our negative thought? Correct? Yeah. I would say better not to do anything. Just sit back and try to alter your thought. Slowly, you will realize that a difference between what you are and what you gathered. Finally, you will come to the conclusion whatever is happening today is the best moment of your life. Like I say, we cannot imagine a rose without a thorn, but we still believe the rose is a beautiful flower. Like the life has its own thorns. If you if you success in eliminating all your negative thoughts and stop predicting, you will get the clear you will get the imagine of the clear life of the goal. Thank you all. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Speechcrafter Vaibhav Nandgaonkar, for a wonderful speech and explaining the life in terms of rose and thorns. Now, next speaker is Speechcrafter Rima Bandekar. Her speech title is Due for Servicing, and her evaluator is Speechcrafter Gopal Ram. Let's welcome Speechcrafter Rima with her speech title Due for Servicing.
It was a pleasant Sunday evening, and I was winding up an errand. While heading home, it struck me that the next day is a Monday, and I felt sick to my stomach. As I lingered further on the thought, a sense of uneasiness and breathlessness caught me. Good morning, Toastmasters and my fellow speech crafters. All have such days sometime or the other. This was not the first time I was having a dull Sunday. It had been happening for the past few weeks. I had conveniently ignored it, calling it the Monday blues. But as my sense of uneasiness increased, it started showing impact on my sleep and my hunger. I was always thinking about some future work commitment and never feeling at peace with myself. I had slowly retreated myself into a self-constructed shell and reduced my banter with my co-workers. Well, if you know me, you know that's not me. I'm a very chatty person in nature. That was so luckily for me, my manager noticed my changed behavior and asked me if I had some issue at work. I politely declined because I had a lot of fun at home, at work, but I did mention to him that I was unable to get rid of my work-related thoughts. At office, at home, I was always thinking about my work. He referred me to my company counselor, who asked me how I was doing. On listening to me, he concluded that I was suffering from persistent anxiety. He compared me to a machine which was on the verge of being overheated because of being passively on for a long time. While I did not like the analogy, I agreed to him. He urged me to unwind in a true sense and jokingly pointed out that a social media stroll at the end of the day is not a means to unwind. At least the person can do is concentrate on his breathing for a few minutes. Today, we all live in a world of fast-track activities, deadlines, and an overload of information. And I agree, we should. Why not? We all like to be active and in the race. But what I fail to understand is why do we do all this at the stake of our sanity and peace of mind? Why does saying no to an event or just taking a break makes us seem like a cricketer who's running back to the pavilion after being out? Forget adults. We overengage our small kids also. This makes me recollect the story of an 8-year-old neighbor I had in Goa who had school, morning swimming classes, evening karate classes, spelling bee classes, and weekend piano classes. Any chance he got, he would run to my house and just sit there staring at the sky and playing with the tennis balls. Friends, anxiety. It's a natural state of a mind. Actually, the right amount of anxiety can help us perform better and also stimulate our creativity. But the devil is the persistent anxiety. It causes a lot of emotional distress and totally reduces our quality of life. Now that I had discovered that I had persistent anxiety, what did I do about it? Well, I did 3 things. First, I started watching animals and children videos. Trust me, guys, nothing is prettier than watching a baby smile. I decided to indulge in activities closer to the nature, like park strolls, national park walks, seaside strolls. Just being in fresh air energized me. I started dancing again, my lost love. But this journey was not an easy one. Being anxious had become second nature to me. I'd had to take a lot of efforts and willpower to tune my mind into relaxing. But I decided to take slow and steady steps and reward myself for every small victory. For example, every weekend I was able to go without touching my laptop, I would treat myself to a pani puri or a brownie. My then boyfriend and now husband was also very supportive of me. He would plan different kind of activities for me for weekends, like museum tours, going to some hill station, and a lot more. My trip over my anxiety issue has been a huge fit for me. Now I'm able to prioritize my recharge and rejuvenate time. And it has helped me to be at peace with myself. Not just that, I'm also able to perform better at work because now I'm able to think on my feet and give creative ideas to my team. I'm finally able to change my life status from due for servicing to regular servicing in order. Thank you.
Very apt subject you have taken, Speechcrafter Rima, and it is much required during this time. Now, the next speaker is Speechcrafter Pratik Shah. His speech title is Communication, and his speech will be evaluated by Speechcrafter Sandeep Shah. Let's welcome Speechcrafter Pratik Shah with his speech title Communication.
Am I visible?
Yes, you are visible and
audible.
You can a little bit go back because your head is being cut. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So my speech title today is communication. Basically, what is communication? Communication is connecting with our friends, families, people around, and our loved ones. So good morning, Speechcrafters and to dear Toastmasters. So communication back, so I am going to speak on the communication which has evolved over a period of time. Back in the early days, communication used to happen with the means of letters. So I do remember letters receiving from my loved ones, especially my grandfather, who used to reside in a village in Gujarat. He used to send us letters on a monthly basis, usually. And my father used to read those letters to help us communicate his message, since it was in Gujarati. And reading Gujarati was not specifically we never used to understand Gujarati specifically. I have never been able to understand and read Gujarati basically. Yeah. So he used to communicate it to us, his messages, everything. And back in those days, offices also used to communicate using letters with their counterparts, either within the regions or across the world. However, in India, we also started using pigeons as the means of transferring the letters to our loved ones, especially to the couples. In fact, I even asked my parents how did they used to communicate with each other and talk during their courtship period back in 70s. So my father did tell me that they used to write down letters to each other to communicate their messages, and they still have those letters as memories with them. Over a period of time passed, and we had an invention that helped us to connect within minutes with our loved ones, and it's none other than the Graham Bell's invention, that is the telephone. The telephone, so back in India, in those days, in the early days, having a landline or a telephone in one's place was considered to be a matter of pride. According to me, though it was a matter of pride for my parents or for people around, but for me, I used to really hate having a landline in my phone, since we had only one landline in an almost entire wing. And we used to receive calls from relatives of our neighbors, though that was irritating me to a certain extent since my childhood days. But yes, I used to hate one neighboring auntie, as we had received a call once from one of her from her mom, and my mom just informed her that it's her mom's call. She just banged into my house and she broke my toy train by overstepping it. That was the day I used to tell my mom, she broke my train, and because of the landline thing, we are having this. So she did explain me that we have to maintain relations. It is communication. When you speak with people, it is important. You get relaxed, all these things. Though during my childhood days, I used to think it is not good. It's okay. We can live alone. But yes, as time has passed, I've started evaluating and understanding that communication is pretty much necessary for all of us. Now, the times have changed where we can communicate over the mobility devices like laptops, mobile phones, etc. The times, it has also enabled us to communicate with each other not only over voice but also with the camera modes on. We can have a face chat and communicate with each other. Though this is something which is advantageous to a certain extent, but it is not good if you are in an office meetings. So I would like to share an example. So back in India, when the COVID thing came in, we were working from home. There was a scenario when I was sitting in for a meeting with my seniors, and the camera was on. My father was sleeping in his room. My mom had gone down to pick up some vegetables. When she came in, she just rang the doorbell. I realized that my father is sleeping, and hence I got up and opened the door. But I missed the fact that I was only wearing a shirt and tie and shorts. So it was visible at that point of time, which was embarrassing for me at to a certain extent. And I started realizing that no, having this is beneficial, but then you have to be careful when you are in an office meetings. Yes, back when I have moved to Bahrain over the past 3 months, I started realizing this communication modes have helped us a lot, since today when I am here all alone, I have my parents with whom I can speak over the phone. I can see them. I still can understand that it is still a feeling of nearness to a certain extent when they are far away from me. So communication has evolved over a period of time. It is advantageous for all of us if we use it in a beneficial way. Yeah, that's it. Over to you, MC. Thank you.
Yes, speech crafter Pratik. Yes, it's communication is very important aspect in our life, and it has evolved over the time. Now, next speaker is speech crafter Gaurav Agarwal, and his speech title is "Men are from Manama and women are from Manhattan." His speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Puspita. Let's welcome speech crafter Gaurav with a speech title Men Are From Manama and Women Are From Manhattan.
Thank you, madam. Before I start my speech, I will just give you a disclaimer. The characters and events depicted in this speech are based on real life incidents. Any similarity to actual person is purely relatable, and speaker has full sympathy towards that person. Respected Toastmasters and fellow speech crafters, good morning. Marriage is a book in which first chapter is written in poetry and the rest of the chapters are written in prose. Every man in the world, be it from any nation, be it from any religion or caste, wants a good looking, someone with good sense of humor, understanding nature, economical, and the most important, a good cook. But the challenge is he wants all of this in one woman. I want to share with you all a story of my friend in Bahrain who was looking for a perfect bride for him. So he went to a matrimonial agency and asked the agent, "Sir, I'm looking for a wife. Can you help me in this?" The broker smiles and says, "Sir, you tell me your requirements." So he starts in a copacetic way. She should be polite, good looking, have good sense of humor. She needs to sing. She needs to blend with my parents and family. I need her to tell me stories when I'm feeling bored. And she should be quiet when I want to take rest. And last but not the least, she should be sleek and attractive. Broker smiled and says in the same copacetic way, "Sir, I exactly understood what you want. You need a LED TV." So his parents were aggressively looking for a bride. They used to send him 4 or 5 pictures every week, and he used to reject all of them. And finally, after 2 years, he got married. He was a very organized man. So right from the beginning, he wanted to master the art of marriage, successful marriage. So what he did, he bought a famous book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. He read it page by page, line by line, words by words. And after reading it, he was sure that he has mastered the art of understanding of women. And he was pretty confident that he could make his wife happy in every content. Few months later, he realized that both men and women are from the same planet. But the only difference is if men are from Manama, then women are from Manhattan. And the reason for that, you would agree from his thought, which I would like to share with you. He told me, men are like Bluetooth. He is connected to you when you are nearby, but searches for other devices when you are away. On the other hand, women are like Wi-Fi. She sees all the available devices, but connects to the strongest one. To be happy with a man, you must understand him a lot, love him a little. To be happy with a woman, you must love her a lot, and not try to understand her at all. A woman's "I will be ready in 5 minutes" and a man's "I will be home in 5 minutes" are exactly the same. Before going to a party, women thinks about ambience, music, food, DJ, crowd, etc. Whereas man thinks about alcohol. A woman makes a list of things she wants, then goes to the store and buys those things. Whereas man waits till there is nothing left in the fridge, then goes to the grocery shopping and buys everything that looks good.
If you're arguing with a woman and she says, wow, it's an indication that a man should run away. And by the way, a woman has a last word in any argument. Anything man says after that is a beginning of new argument. Men see silence as a bonus. Women use it as a weapon. After listening to his thoughts, even I was convinced that yes, I am from Manama, but my wife is definitely from Manhattan. So if you ask me about my thoughts on marriage, it would be like listening to wife is like reading the terms and condition of a website. You understand nothing, but still you say, I agree. I know a few of you are bachelors here, like my friend Webho, who is eager to taste that Shadi ka laddu. But my friend, please beware of some of the many loopholes. When man get up late, he is lazy. When women get up late, she's taking rest. If man helps in household work, he's making a mess. And when he doesn't, he's not considering. When man is watching TV, he's wasting time. When women is watching TV, she's relaxing, man. In the end, I can only say marriage is give and take. You better give it to her or she will take it anyways. But on a serious note, there is a word male inside female, Mr. inside Mrs., he inside she, which prove that man can't live without woman. Thank you for listening. Over to you, Madam Toastmasters.
Wonderful speech crafter Gaurav. I think all the bachelors in the group can be benefited with all these tips. So next move on to next speaker. Let's move on to next speaker. That is P. Shyam Krishnan. His speech title is Importance of Value of System. And his speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Clifford. Let's welcome Speechcrafter Shyam with his speech title Importance of Value of System.
Hello. Hi. I would like to say
Hi.
it's importance of value systems, not value of
Oh,
systems. It's importance of value systems. Okay, just a small
okay.
correction.
Yeah, sure.
Our values are very important because they would help us to grow and develop in a capacitic manner. The decisions that we take in life and the actions that follow is all dependent on our values and beliefs. Good morning, my dear friends, on this wonderful Friday morning, and best wishes to on the occasion of Eid to all of you. I am here to talk a few words or present in front of you some important aspects of a very key topic or key subject, which is the importance of the value systems. And I believe the need of this hour is to all of us understand the importance of these value systems. First of all, let's begin with what do we mean by values? By values, it's nothing but like what do we think it is or what do we believe? Those things which are important to carry out the work the way we do that, right? So, quite often we would have noticed that if you carry out a work which is in line with your own values and beliefs, it is done in a very efficient way and you feel really motivated. You feel get a sense of satisfaction, right? However, if things are done against your own values and belief because of the force from your boss or from your other peers, then you will end up with a sense of dissatisfaction for sure. Okay. Now, value systems are important in all walks of our life, be it our personal life, social life, as well as our professional careers, right? So it is very important for all of us to know where do we start gaining knowledge or learn about values in life and how do we do that? We all learn the values of life right from our childhood days. Yes, right from our childhood days, we know what values to follow. And what we learn from those times, will have an impact in the way we carry out our functions, be it in the social life, being helpful to others, or in even in the way we carry out our responsibilities in our official work, right? So now we know when do we get it? That is from our childhood. The next question comes is how? How do we get to know the values? Is it by a formal education in the school or taught by others? No, it is more by observing, okay, and by practice. In our childhood days, we do observe what our parents do, our grandparents do, the elderly siblings do in their homes. And then we also try to emulate them. Okay. And as well, we are given certain tasks to be done on a regular basis. And all these tends to become good values to be followed in our future life. And this is where we get to learn a lot about the values. Some of these, which all of us have experienced, is we learn the values of hard work, being committed, being honest, truthful. All these comes basically by observing what others do in our childhood days. And this is carried forward throughout our career. Friends, there are basically three types of values, if I could say, which I could broadly categorize as character values, work values, and personal values. Character values, it's very simple, as the name says, it talks about our own character, like being honest, committed, and loyal. And all these are key values which are looked upon by any organization before they employ people. And work values are those which we expect in a working atmosphere so that we could carry out our work with utmost dedication and motivation. Lastly, the personal values are those which we all think is required to carry out our life. Being some examples I could quote: being helpful to others, being helpful to people who are in need, and having your own work life balance, like the personal life, official life work balance. Those kind of things can be categorized, and also some people would be liking to have maintained good health, good looking, like to be appreciated. All these could be considered as personal values. And in any business organization, it is important to have a set of clearly defined values throughout the stream, right from the top management till the lower levels. Everyone should be following set of values which would help them to be disciplined and follow them, so that that would help achievement of the overall goals in an excellent and unified manner. Okay. And in this social environment, which is very important, we see it is an extremely turbulent atmosphere across the world. And the value systems, the importance of the value systems is really has to be seen in these days. We see at one end of the spectrum people who go out of their way and help the people who are affected by the COVID pandemic in all ways, like from entirely from their monetary as voluntary support and physical support. On the other hand, we also see a set of people who are trying to make use of the situation, black marketing things, okay, selling, hoarding things, cheating people. So these two kinds of extreme variance gives us a clear example of those who are brought up with values of life and those who are not following this. And in terms of family values, there are a lot of values which we keep learning. And as I mentioned earlier, our children are watching us. So as parents, we need to be really careful on what do we do, and then how do we interact between husband and wife, how do we interact with our own workers. All these are being watched, and it is very, very important. Some of the key values which children learn are how do we uh, how do you respect elders, the compassion, the kindness, and all those things will be part of the family values. Lastly, I would like to take this opportunity to stress once again the importance of understanding and implementing the importance of value systems in all walks of our life, and particularly in this current situation of the COVID pandemic. People with high values are really going to be proving themselves as the right human beings to be eligible to be on this planet Earth. And thank you once again for this opportunity. Over to you, MC.
Indeed, speech crafter Shah, value system plays an important role in our life. Now let's move on to our next speaker, Speechcrafter Vicky John Walker, with his speech title, Little Things Matter. And his speech will be evaluated by Toastmaster Maya. Let's welcome Speechcrafter Vicky John Walker with his speech title, Little Things Matter.
Thank you, Toastmaster Priyanka. Am I visible and audible to all of you?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Friends, can you imagine a situation where you have to go for a meeting next morning to the office? You're supposed to wear a white shirt. And suddenly you realize that all your white shirts have turned into pink. Yes, you heard it right. All your white shirts have turned into pink. Yes, my dear friends, dear Toastmasters, mentors, and my dear fellow speech crafters, this is Vicky Walker yet again with another speech. Friends, the incident which I want to share with you, which I want to narrate to you today, dates back to the year 2002. I was in 8th standard at that point of time. One of my uncle, he had promised me that he is going to take me and some of my cousins to Water Kingdom. Now, for those who don't know what is Water Kingdom is a very popular water park in Mumbai. It is also very expensive. So as decided, me, along with my cousins, we went to our uncle's place one day prior. When we reached there, I saw my uncle was sitting in a very sad mood, and we did not know what had happened. But after inquiring with my auntie, we came to know that something very strange had happened that day. Now, what had happened exactly? Now, this uncle of mine was very fond of white color shirts. He used to wear only white color shirts. And he had a huge collection of white color shirts. Some of them had embroideries, some were made from pure silk, some were made from the khadi, and so on. So he had this huge wardrobe full of white color shirts. And my aunt used to take utmost care while washing those shirts because they were white. So she used to put all the white color shirts in the washing machine with a very expensive detergent called Vanish. But you know that day what happened? She was washing all the shirts with Vanish. And when the washing was over, all the shirts had actually vanished. Yes, you heard it right. Because all the white color shirts had turned pink in color. Now, what had exactly happened? Now, this uncle of mine had a very young daughter, the only daughter, his only princess, who was only 4 years old that time. She was playing around and she was wearing a pink color short. Now that shorts got spoiled, and she thought since the washing machine is on, let's put it in the machine. And the washing machine was open. It was a top loaded washing machine. So she just went, she put the pink shorts in the machine. The washing was done. But at the end of it, you know what happened? Now, this little child did not know that that 20 rupees, very inexpensive short, runs color. But it had actually ended up spoiling the entire range of white shirts my uncle had. It's a very little thing. Can someone even think the implication of such a small thing like these inexpensive clothes, which they must have purchased for hardly 20 or 30 rupees from the local market, had actually spoiled a collection of clothes which costed almost 8 to 10,000 rupees. Yes, my dear friends, this is what happens in real life. A lot of times, our small decisions, our small actions and reactions affect us in big way. And this is the moot point of my speech today. So coming back to the Water Kingdom, the next day, we decided that we will go to Water Kingdom. And we were all very excited. Me, my cousins, my uncle, my auntie, everybody was very excited. And as decided, we were going to travel by train. So we took a local train. Now, when we were traveling in the train, there was a very poor man who was sitting just next to my uncle on the adjacent seat. Now, this man was accompanied by his two kids. Both his kids must be below 10 years old. So my uncle started talking to that man. And after talking to him, we came to know that these three gentlemen were also going to Water Kingdom. Now, this man looked very vulnerable. He looked very, he looked as if he was living hands to mouth. But at the same time, he also looked very, satisfied with his life because he had his two kids. And he started sharing his story. He said that his kids were insisting to go to Water Kingdom, and he had postponed the plan altogether for many months. It seems he did not have enough money, and probably he was collecting the amount so that he can take his kids to the park. We reached Water Kingdom, okay? And my uncle took me along with him to get the entry passes. We were standing in the queue, and this man whom we had met in the train was just standing ahead of my uncle. He paid the money to the counter. The lady on the counter started counting money. At that time, the passes must be costing hardly 500 rupees. That means he needed 1500 to buy 3 passes. Well, that lady said, "Sir, this is only 1400. You have to give me 100 more." That man looked very nervous. He started searching for money in all his pockets. But it seems he had already given everything he had. He had no money, but he looked nervous. His children were just standing next to him, and they looked so excited and happy that they are going to go inside the park. Myself and my uncle, we were witnessing all this. And what my uncle did next really shocked me. My uncle just removed 200 rupees notes from his pocket, and very quietly he just dropped it on the floor. Then he patted on the shoulder of that man and said, "Brother, I think you dropped your money." You know, the expression on that man's face, he was very nervous before. But once he saw those 200 rupees note, his nervousness has vanished, because all he was worried was about his children. He wanted to take them to the park. He picked up the money, took the passes, and the rest was, we all had a great day at park. But later that day, I asked my uncle, "Uncle, if you had to help that man, you could have just given him the money. Why did you put the money on the floor?" My uncle said, "Vicky, it is the greatest thing that we are capable of helping someone. But wouldn't it be nice if we can do that without causing an embarrassment to the person? Because that is sensitivity." Little thing, my friends. It's a very small thing, but a great thought. And that's why I say that little things matter even more when they are done with the greatest intention. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you for listening to me. Over to you, Toastmaster Priyanka.
Thank you, Speechcrafter Vicky. Yeah, speech was mixed with emotions, and it took us to a roller coaster of humor, and then again a serious. It was a fantastic speech, I would say. Now next, let's move on to our next segment, that is table topics. And today it is going to be conducted by Speechcrafter Nidhi Pallav Rathore. And to my surprise, I would like to share this. When I asked Dr. Nidhi whether would you like me to help you, what to speak, to write the script for you for table topics, or should I help you in something? And she very confidently said that I don't need any help. I understood everything and I'll manage it. So don't you feel she's already a Toastmaster? So let's welcome Speechcrafter Dr. Nidhi for the table topic session.
A very good morning to all. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Priyanka. I hope I am doing justice to what I said. I am the table topic master for today's session. Table topics are general topics which help members to develop their ability to organize thoughts and respond to impromptu topics. It helps in making one a confident and a better speaker. I will announce the name of the table topic twice with the name of the speech crafter, and each speech crafter will be given 1 or 2 minutes to talk on the table topic. My first table topic is for speech crafter Dilip Jain. The topic is, if you could change your life with any celebrity for one day, who would it be and what would you do? If you could change your life with any celebrity for one day, who would that be and why?
Thank you, Speechcrafter Nidhi. Uh, well, if you talk about celebrity, I am very limited and less likely to name any Bollywood star or some Hollywood star. I consider my celebrity as my like my parents.